What's up, everybody? KG here, coming at you with an exciting live stream this evening, this morning, this afternoon, wherever it is you are in the world. I'm glad to see you here. And if you're catching this on the replay, I'm glad you're here as well. I am joined today by a very special guest that really doesn't need an introduction, but I will do my best to give him one anyways. He has sailed the seven seas, or so it is told. He has done so much for the Hex and PulseChain community and crypto in totality, which we're going to dive into that this evening. And I'm very excited to go into what he is working on and actively doing right now with his team for the world of crypto. So I'm going to bring him up. We're going to dive in this evening to the PulseChain Tour. What's going on with this amicus brief? If I said that wrong, he's going to correct me. We're going to talk about what's going on with the SEC submissions and how nobody really feels wronged by what happened. And if we do feel wronged, it's our very own government overstepping those boundaries, not me as an individual who made an autonomous decision of what I will do with my money. I don't feel wronged by that. Let's bring him up. It's my friend, the captain, RG3.
Hey, good evening, my friend. What's going on? Brother KG.
Nothing much, man. I was thinking about that earlier. Brother KG, Captain RG.
Yep.
Synergy. Man, how you doing tonight?
Man, I'm great. I had a big day in LA. I had to go do a bunch of running around and whatnot, and I got my my validator in the mail when I got home. It was like Christmas when I got here and got to open it up. Thank you to Mr. David Fetter for sending me my signed validator. I really appreciate it. I'm stoked. I can't wait to go put it together.
Yeah, shout out David Fetter, however he pronounces it, for making those validator kits so easy and replicatable. Yeah, replicatable. I couldn't get it out. That's one thing that we need that much in the crypto space is easy.
When you look at where we're at, what are we at? 48,000 validators now and climbing. I mean, it's just like they're pumping out like 1,000 more validators every single week. It seems it's just like boom, 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 boom. Beautiful thing. I mean, when you go back to the cypherpunks and the first time I heard of Bitcoin, or first time I read the white paper and started understanding kind of what the whole movement was really about, what crypto is really going to be about. When I read about mining, when I finally got into what that was about, I'm like, wow, every person on the globe gets to participate in the network and validate the transactions and be the consensus model. And I was just like, I was blown away by how that puts us all in charge and gives us a little bit of our power back, and, but then it was kind of I got disillusioned by it because of, the mining pools and then the ridiculousness of the difficulty and the power waste and all that, But now that we have proof of stake, that concept is still put back into the hands of all of us. We get to validate and be our own node and go and be part of the system. And you can do it fairly inexpensive and not have to, waste all that power, make crazy electric bills at grandma's house in the basement, and stuff like that. So it's really cool that we can now participate fully in the system. Not only do you have Hex and you have control of the money and the supply and the inflation of the coin, you get to be part of that, and you get to be part of the banking system when you take penalties from people who early end stake and staking yourself, you become part of the system and delaying inflation from coming out, and now you can validate. And I mean, it's just one thing after another of the cypherpunk movement. The tenet of crypto is actually being laid out before us. Richard has really done an eloquent job of laying all these things out before us to go out and utilize and actually really participate in DeFi.
Well said. I I think that it often gets underappreciated how important a metric validator count is.
Hmm.
Starting out too much, it's the more validators you have, the more decentralized the network becomes because the
Exactly.
more people are validating and, therefore securing the network.
Yep.
So when that number starts getting up into the hundreds of thousands, and we're also starting to see more geographic regions, which is important because if one guy had 50,000 validators in his house, I mean, okay, who cares to a degree? But it's
Yeah.
the that all around the world we're starting to see validators pop up. That
Oh
means
yeah.
no one government or one jurisdiction can come in and say, Pulse Chain, you're getting shut down.
Yeah, and there's no
Powerful.
pools, there's none of that nonsense out there. So it's a truly, completely decentralized um, consensus mechanism, and I thought it was really cool when they launched and the first validators came out where it looked like the Pulse Chain team, whomever it was. I'm not going to say Richard Hart personally. I'm just going to say the team that launched Pulse Chain had 11,000 validators out there. And then as soon as the number got passed up by external validators, um, you know, um, boom, they got rid of those validators, turned them off, burned all the coins that were in them, and that was it. It's like, okay, it's all up to you guys now. Have at it. And boom, a conflagration happened, and now we have 48 getting ready to crack 50,000 validators. And I'm part of the system.
And how does that feel? Does that feel good to say that you're actually contributing to that now? Now you're not just
Yeah,
seeing the number go up, you're one of them?
yeah, man. Just like every step of the way here, we're taking our power back. We're taking a little bit of our power back, buying hex and staking hex and being part of that, and is like ripping it right out of crypto, ripping like the good stuff out of crypto and saying, over here, this is where we're going to do it. You
Mm,
guys have screwed this up long enough, and we've got a hold of it. And then getting involved in the sacrifice phases for pulse chain and free speech. Hey, we're going to blockchain is free speech, and we're going to get out there in front of it, and we're going to sacrifice for it, and we're going to help bring it on. We're going to validate. We're going to do all the things necessary to make this a fully decentralized, consensus mechanism of the people, by the people, for the people. And this is our statement, and this is our power. And it's just Richard's really done the right thing by politicizing this, because it's really a statement. If we're going to go on and take down the banks and the governments and the money makers and the powers that be, it's got to be political. We got to take our power back. And this is really, I really think, I've always been kind of a freedom fighter, being half native. I was an aimer back in the day, and
mm,
part of that organization, and fighting for native rights and whatnot. And every time I went up against the powers, man, it was just like ominous, like going up against the elites, the wealthy, the banks, any type of industrial complex out there, and this government, which is run by them, by the way. It was just a daunting task. Like, how are you going to fight that? How are you going to go up against it? They got all the best lawyers. They got all the money. They can just destroy you at any time they want, really, just by, burying you under paperwork or burying you under dollars or whatever it is that they have. That's the power they got. So no matter how loud and obnoxious, violent, whatever we are in the streets, or how smart we are out in the streets, they always push us back down,
mm.
no matter how mad we get. So it's like we've got to have those tools, the power tools, in order to go out and make change. And I think that this is it finally. I think that crypto and decentralized finance are really the thing that's going to give us our power back. Because when the money starts moving this way, when the transference of wealth happens and crypto is the one that starts to take over, then we could use Citizens United to our favor, and we can have dark money, and we can start lobbying, and we can start getting the people behind us, and we can start fixing the money.
Mm.
That's what I'm seeing. So I'm excited. I'm glad to be a part of it.
I love what you're saying right now because this this whole thing we're a part of is almost like a revolution. Some might even call it a form of warfare, but the
Mm.
fight that is occurring is for your financial freedom. The
Mhm.
government is continuing to suppress that. We see time and time again when the SEC gets involved, it's not the project they shut down that is the cause of the pain. It's the SEC themselves. With
Mm.
There was an NFT project recently where the SEC rugged the project. The project didn't rug it. So time and time again, our government is hurting its citizens and they overstep the boundaries. Like, okay, someone who's
In
not
the
an
name of
American
protections.
in the name of protections. And why should somebody who's not an American citizen even be affected by the SEC? How are they able to step over those worldly jurisdictional lines? And the money is the easiest way to control people. Because in today's society, if they turn your money off or they strip you of your money, you can't buy water, you can't buy food, you can't pay your bills.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
absolutely crippled. So
Money
it is
is
important.
freedom. And people don't understand that. I hear all this talk about money as evil, and money is, woe of the world and this and that. But no, money buys you options, and options buys you freedom, and freedom buys you happiness. That's what we're all looking for, is real freedom, and that's what money does. It provides freedom to us. And if we don't have control of it, if they can turn it off or on and tell us what we can and can't spend it on and all that kind of jazz, then we don't have freedom. This is literally a freedom fight, and I'm glad that he's politicizing it.
It is absolutely a freedom fight because, well, it is. You said it best. I don't need to repeat what you said. You said it best, which actually is a good transition to what you're doing with the PulseChain Tour. I'm going to share my screen here real quick.
Yeah.
So, coming up here in Austin, Texas, which
Yes,
I will
sir.
actually be a speaker at this event. This will be my first crypto event that I'm giving any kind of presentation at. So I'm both excited and terrified. Thank you for that. Appreciate the opportunity. Fix the money, fix the world. I love the title that you chose for this event here.
Yeah, and really, when it comes down to it, it's really not, the money can be fixed, but we got to fix crypto first. And I think that's what Richard did. Is Richard literally fixed crypto. So now we can fix the money and fix the world. So
Hmm.
thank you, Richard, for putting out the products, and you guys too, KG. All you guys that are building on it is proof that this is finally working, because it's not going to be the founder that drives the whole thing. He's going to bring visionary, he's going to bring devs to the table, they're going to make some things, but the community has to listen to itself and build and develop and grow and improve the things that were put before us. As long as there's a decentralized network for us to work on, and there's coins, and the bases are there, like the blockchain itself and a good solid crypto, then the community can go out and do things like you guys have done, build wallets, build better wallets, and make things better for the community. Versus, what did we just see? We like, how's that for timing? You guys launch a wallet that's actually decentralized, better built. As soon as the wallets, that was the status quo, decides that it's going to turn itself into a centralized pile of crap that can't even be used anymore. I mean, wow. It's the community. So yeah, so you guys, and all of us, the community, are fixing the money so that we can fix the world.
I love that. And I think you brought up a really important point. So there's a term in, I guess, the gaming space, maybe it comes out into play more, called a sandbox. And a
Uh-huh.
sandbox is a type of game where you just build. Basically, it's Minecraft would be considered a sandbox
Yeah,
kind of game.
Roblox, those things.
Exactly, 100% yes. So I feel like Richard built the decentralized sandbox,
There you
and
go.
then all the people coming in with the products that believe in that same decentralized ethos are building the, I don't know, the slide and the monkey bars and, everything else that is actually going to make this a playground in an ecosystem. And that's what's so important, is that in and of itself is another form of decentralization. Because if Richard built everything, which he builds great products, I'm not saying it would be bad necessarily, but it's important to have different philosophies and different perspectives come in and build in the sandbox, because that further decentralizes it. As long as they
Yeah.
believe in those same core principles, it can only strengthen it.
Well, there's room for all these products. I mean, there's room for 20 different wallets. There's room. The world can use all of these things, and the cream will rise to the top. And that's what we need. We need to see competition. We need to see people utilizing the space. We need to see people making and improving things, and sticking to the tenets and being decentralized and not showing any centralization. That's what's going to make the crypto world, and then the world eventually, start to adopt what we have here. And yeah, it's going to take all these people building, and we're going to get rug pulls, and we're going to get stupid projects, we're going to get dead projects, we're going to get buggy projects, we're going to get all kinds of that stuff. So people have to be careful and beware. It is the wild west now. It's going to be, for a while, for at least 5 years, we're going to have the wild west on this blockchain. And people need to beware, be careful, and don't get themselves wrecked getting too excited about things. But yeah, it's going to be good to get behind good projects, and watch them grow and flourish. And I'm excited, for what we've got. It's finally here. No, we were all waiting for the main L1s to get their heads out of their ass, right?
Mm.
And finally make good on their promises. And they still haven't. Like, Richard's already beat them to the punch, and they still haven't made good on their promises over there. And it's like, what's crypto waiting for? Guys, the water's fine over here. Come on in. There's room for you over here.
I think a big part of that is obviously the FUD and the negativity that goes around in the or in the media, the crypto media, so to speak,
Yeah.
about this ecosystem. But with time, patience, and perseverance, we shall overcome all things. And as long as this community continues to stay here and continues to build and continues to have the wins, both against the government, the technological wins, the community building, there becomes a point where people can no longer say things that they're saying, because you continue to prove them wrong. So that's just a sign that you're still early in a movement. I mean, what big movement has ever come out and everyone's like, oh yeah, mainstream totally bends to that? I mean, we, in the 1400s, they were literally burning people alive for saying the earth revolved around the sun. Okay, like that actually happened. And now we teach elementary school kids that. So it's like,
we're damn near going back there, though. Some of the shit's going backwards,
I mean, I get scared that it is, unfortunately, but point is that these revolutionary ideas are never, ever immediately accepted by the mainstream. And even in crypto, even though you have mainstream and then you have crypto, there's a mainstream within crypto. It has its own dogma and its own gatekeeping. And so it's to be expected. It's almost a form of validation that you're doing the right thing.
Yeah. I thrive on being the underdog. I mean, that's where I function. I function at being the underdog. And when things are too easy, I don't do my best work. The harder it is, that's where I shine. That's where I do my work. And I learn, when you're being forged in fire, when you've got everything coming at you sideways, and people trying to drag you down and push you down, it's when you get the strongest. It's when you learn the most, and that's kind of indicative of this whole community. We've been forced to explain what it is that's going on over here and defend it. And in doing so, we've all had to learn, what this was all about and what was going on here and what true DeFi was supposed to look like, and how this attaches itself to freedom of speech, and how this attaches itself to fixing the money for real finally, and how it attaches itself to giving people ownership of their own property, of their own intellectual property, of their own art, of their own creativity, their own words, and being able to utilize this space with freedom of speech. We've got to push that narrative out there, because they're trying to turn it into something else and take it away from us. And that's not how it works. The internet was supposed to be a tool to do good in the world, to make the world a better place. And unfortunately, just like crypto was made to come and make the world a better place, the human nature, greed, whatever has taken over. And even though there are a lot of great things on the internet, don't get me wrong, the communication is good, the world has shrank, we all can see each other now and understand each other better. But the best things that the internet has to offer, I don't think have really gotten out there into the world yet. I think that, the generation before me has suppressed the advancement of the 21st century. Like, we should be using these tools to make the world a better place. And we've kind of sat on our laurels and used it for gambling and porn and, food recipes and, garbage, marketing the crap out of everything. And so we've indulged in the beauty of the internet versus taking it and utilizing it for the tool that it is, and I think that's just human nature, because I've been, this AI thing has popped out lately, and everyone's like, oh my God, oh no, what are they going to do at the schools? They don't have to write an essay anymore. What are they going to do? And it took me back. Now I'm going to age my friggin' self here, but I remember when the calculator came out. God damn it.
Wow.
And there didn't used to be calculators in school. We were doing math on paper and pencil. And
Stone Age.
Yeah. When the calculator came out, the fucking world freaked out. Like, they literally told us as kids, we couldn't take a calculator to school. Like, it was like forbidden fruit, like you couldn't bring one, bro. You couldn't get caught with a calculator. And then Casio made this one that went on your garage.
I have one.
Yeah, and that was like, oh my God, now nobody's gonna know. Math is wrecked, but see, that's just our first initial fear, right? That fear of the unknown versus, and this is how I think, man. I'm an open book. It's like, don't be afraid of things, man. AI is gonna make people better writers. It's gonna make people do some more imaginary shit than they couldn't have done before. It just advances them. It makes them better. It takes us into 21st century. And imagine the cool stories that are going to be told now because somebody went into an AI bot and pushed some information into it, drug a story out, and then their mind expounded on it more and they shoved it in the bot again. And then boom, they got this masterpiece, and kids are now not having to waste their time with writing out the oratory works of their essays and whatnot. Now they can really think, and now the professor can actually, they know they're using AI. So it's like, what did you do to make this? How did you make this? How can you make this even better? Why didn't you push more information into the AI? Why didn't you get it to and then they can start building better and better and better people. By utilizing these tools versus no, don't use it. Don't, it's scary. Burn it. It's a witch,
Exactly.
And then that's what you were just saying. It's like, instead of listening to somebody who was intellectual in science and was, advancing the world, they were afraid of it. And they said, now fucking burn her. She's a witch, So it's the same thing. It's human nature, man. That's what's happening now. If we get out in front of this and enough people start saying, hey, look, shut the hell up and let the kids use the AI and grade them on how well they use the AI, You know, no,
Mm.
essays are a thing of the past. Let's get over. Just like writing down 1+1 is 2 and showing the division work and all that shit. That's the stuff of the past. Now kids are, you know, using those calculators to do calculus and trigonometry and all that stuff, you know, in 5th grade, you know, versus their senior year in high school, you know. So um yeah, man, I want this stuff to get out there and advance the world and take us to the 21st century, man. We've been waiting too long.
You you just packed in. Are you familiar with Ralph Waldo Emerson by any chance, the author?
I know, yeah, I know the author, but I'm not like a big Waldo Emerson. You know, I can't regurgitate
No,
his works or anything,
you
but I
just
have
did.
heard some of his stuff.
You just regurgitated his work. That was the point. Everything he spent all that time writing about was effectively everything you're just saying is human beings by nature are going to iterate on themselves. We're going to create new things. We're going to evolve. We're going to advance. And you embrace it. That's it. That's all you can do. You
Yeah,
can't you literally can't stop it. It's literally impossible to stop it. You can try, you can resist, you know, it's like having a good bowel movement. If you're, you know, if it's stuck up in there, it hurts. You just got to relax and you got to let it flow, man.
yeah,
That's
yeah. I know, and I've got a saying for what I'm trying to say here, and an old elder Indian elder friend of mine told me this, and he said I was freaking out one day about some stupid shit. It didn't make no damn sense anyway. He said, yo, he stopped me and he said, hey, he said, look me dead in the eye. He said, I want you to calm down for a second. And he said this to me. He said, row, row, row your boat gently
mm.
down the stream. And I was just like, what did he just say? And he said it again. And I was like, okay, I get you. I get you. You know, freaking calm down. Let it
Mm.
go. Go with the flow. This is where things are going. This is where things are happening. How do you make the lemonade out of the lemons, or or what appears to be lemons and really are not? You know, and yeah, that's where we're at. Just like with this crypto, you know, we've got all these people seeing what Richard's doing right now, and they're, oh God, it's got to be a scam. Oh God, it's got to be wrong. You can't, you know, who's this guy saying it's better than Bitcoin? You know, it's better than Bitcoin, guys. And if eventually that's going to catch on, and they're going to realize that, yeah, we've been sitting here staring at old tech for too long just because a bunch of guys with mouths have big bags of it. So we're going to sit and look here at old tech and try and build around it and watch it break and fumble and bumble and not do what it was supposed to do. Man,
I
Richard's
hate
better
those
than
guys with
Satoshi.
mouths, man.
Richard's better than Satoshi. He built a better product than Satoshi. He stuck around and helped build a community. A community is necessary to push the product out into the world. He didn't disappear on the community. He's still here. He made a movie with us. He sat with us all during the beginning of it and explained it all to us while they were hurling freaking bullets, cannons, freaking arrows, and everything else at him and us. He's better than Satoshi. Satoshi either died or ran and hid and still hasn't come out. Richard stood in front of it. We all stood in front of it. Hex is better than Bitcoin. Richard is better than Satoshi. Why is that so hard for people to understand? It's like it's like he's some kind, Satoshi is some kind of messiah or some shit. Like
Mm.
Bitcoin is some kind of fucking arc or some shit. It's like,
Mm.
no, it's a stupid piece of technology that proved the concept and it's no good anymore. We got something better. We've got better people. We've got a better founder. Why are we looking at that other shit like it's something special and it's not?
You
Hex is
you
better than Bitcoin.
you kind of hit the nail on the head, and I was having this thought earlier today, actually, in that Bitcoin has sort of this religious dogma attached to it, and if you say certain things about it, you're basically you can make the parallels. You're saying certain things about certain religions, that someone may or may not be the Messiah, or may not be the ultimate truth, that there is other ways out there. And it's never going to be broken, ever.
Mhm.
You're never going to pull the Bitcoin maximalists off the hill. You're just
No,
not.
and we got one in the chat room right now. I'd love to answer him.
But,
Hey, Mr. Whatever lover, whatever you are,
oh,
how's forever inflating token better than a fixed supply? Well, your fixed supply ain't coming out for 120 years. Your fixed supply has a fake freaking halvening on it every 4 years now. That wasn't part of Satoshi's vision, by the way. That was added to it. So on top of inflating more than the 3.69% every year, you've got a garbage token over there too. It doesn't work. How's that Lightning Network working? Just found a critical bug in it, didn't they? On the Rube Goldberg machine that they're trying to build on top of that piece of crap technology to make it work, to make it function. Sorry, man. You can't win that argument. It's no good. The inflation's higher, and it's going to be inflating for 120 years, higher than Hex. And it doesn't delay gratification. It doesn't delay the inflation like Hex does. Hex delays the inflation for up to 15 years. And then that inflation, as it rolls around, might not come back. For another, it might get staked again. You might have inflation that sits out there for 30 years over the next 30 years here. In fact, you will. You'll have somebody that restake 15-year stakes that have their inflation that was stuck on it. You don't have that kind of a model. I'm sorry. It's just the facts of the facts.
So, okay. Bitcoin inflates until past all of us. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah,
I
past
see.
all of us are dead. About 120, 150 years.
Oh, Ebonics lover responded.
Yeah, on the minting, inflation is way higher than 3.69. Not on Hex. Not on Hex.
It's
on Bitcoin, yes. 5 something, it's up there. Yep. It's more than Hex. And Hex inflates at 3.69%. It's in the contract, bro. It's in the contract. Read it.
Read it. But actually, I wanted to go back to a little more positive point a minute ago. Sage, I really
but
like
hey,
this.
I'm not bagging on the gentleman there. I'm just saying I'm just correcting and letting him understand what's going on. We know, you guys don't. We know Bitcoin and we know Hex. You know Bitcoin maybe, unless you need to be educated on some of that too, but you don't know Hex. We know Hex.
Hey, I think one thing that people realize coming to the channel is we're going to tell it how it is around here. And so I've seen a Bonix lover. He knows what's up. He's got thick skin. So shout out to you, Bonix lover. Thanks for asking the good questions.
The hard questions. Yeah. And I'm not yelling at him. I'm just, I get passionate about what I do. That's all, buddy.
I hear you. That's one thing I really appreciate about you is your passion. I think one other thing missing in this world is passionate people. So keep that up, please.
Yeah.
All right. And let's go ahead to, and I do want to talk about the tour as well. But we do have a question from SJ here. Question for KG about the internet money wallet. Hexalina just asked on X, is there a way to migrate 555 stakes on MetaMask to a different wallet? So here's just general wallet education that's not unique to internet money. So if you have, let's say, put out a 555 stake and you used your MetaMask or you were on a hardware wallet, those stakes aren't actually on that wallet or that device that you used. They are on a public address that is backed by a private key. So if you import your private keys to another wallet, such as the Internet Money wallet, or you connect your hardware wallet to another wallet, such as the Internet Money wallet, you will be able to access your stakes just the same. You could actually use 10 different wallets in parallel at the same time. So you're never tied or have to be dedicated to one single wallet. So the short answer to that question is yes. And the way that you migrate is you don't have to migrate. Doesn't exist.
Wallets are just a handshake for your keys to touch the tools that are out there, whether it be a decentralized exchange or a DApp. whatever it is. That's all. That's all a wallet does. Whether it's a hardware wallet or a soft wallet, it is, you know, just a handshake to that dApp that has your key, that taps into your keys.
Exactly. It's exactly. Nothing is actually held on the wallet itself. That it's the handshake, it's the projector, it's the gateway, but
Yeah,
it's not held, and that's
yeah,
very
just
important
projects.
distinction.
Yeah,
Oh, hey,
great question.
what's up, Gerardo? Good to see you in
Hey,
here,
Gerardo,
brother.
what's up, dude? Been a while. Been a while since I've seen that. Yeah,
Good to
yeah,
see you,
sweet.
man. Congrats on the Mintra launch, bro. Congrats.
Yeah, congrats. Another Hexagon out there doing the work, putting
100%.
putting the work together, doing it without Richard. Without Richard, Richard didn't have anything to do with Mintra. Mintra, it was community developers put it together, thought of it, built it, were inspired by whatever, and we're able to launch it out here because we have an L1 that's freaking awesome and makes it easy for people to launch things on. Doesn't get shut down every couple of weeks. Doesn't cost a fortune to launch a project on.
100%.
And it's fully decentralized, getting better and better every day. In fact, we're putting another validator online here in the next day or so. I mean, it's getting better and better for all of us. And way to go, Gerardo. Way to go, buddy.
100%. To that is less expensive to launch a project. I want to take it back to the bull when we were launching for our project some stuff on Ethereum, and just to create a liquidity pool at that time cost $1,500. That was one move on
Whew.
the blockchain. $1,500. You know what I mean? Like that's not sustainable for smaller teams. That actually makes it more of a centralized corporate environment. Which,
Yeah.
look, shout out to Ethereum. You're the OG. PulseChain wouldn't be here without you. But a lot of things are being priced out.
Yeah. And again, it's that same thing, bro. It's Ethereum proof to concept. You know, they got some things right, just like Bitcoin got some things right, proof to concept. They just weren't there yet. And they had a chance. You know, Bitcoin, you know, had a chance, but they couldn't. They tried to program on it. They tried to open it up and do things, but they kept releasing bugs. They released 2 bugs, and they had another, you know, two inflation bugs and another bug they released trying to do things on it. Ethereum, promise after promise after promise of getting better and better, you know, getting off, you know, the mining algorithm. But it took them too long, you know, and finally somebody else had to say, okay, well, let's go do all of these things better. And that's what Richard did, you know, and here we are today.
Absolutely. And so let's take that as the transition. Tell us about the tour, right? Because these things you're
Okay.
saying, you're
Yeah.
obviously saying them online, but
Mhm.
run us through, if somebody doesn't know about the tour that you're doing, run us through what the tour is, what you've done. You've gone to many cities around the US. You and your team have been working really hard. Tell us about the tour itself and what your experience on the road has been like.
So the PulseChain Tour was, you know, my little brainchild when PulseChain was about to launch, and I wanted to get out there and help solidify the community, also help onboard uh, uh, new onboards. Um, you know, basically kiss babies, shake hands, all that good stuff, and spread goodwill along with the information of the pulse chain. Now we launched the tour without the pulse chain being launched. We were going to go do it no matter what, whether it was live or not. If it would have took Richard a year, we were going to do it anyway. And I couldn't have done it without my 2 partners. I've got Kaylin Black Hexagon. She is the road manager. She manages the whole thing. Definitely not my doings. She manages everything, gets all the events set up. So I couldn't do it without her. And so she's the manager. And then we have our road manager, which is a wild SJ who's in the chat there. She has been driving a bus, you know, that we threw together and she got, and we painted it PulseChain Tour, and kind of an old hippie bus, that has cost us a lot of heartaches, getting brakes fixed and hoses and overheating and this and that and the other. But without those two and what they do, and SJ, driving into town, scouting out the location, going to the colleges, going to the coffee shops, handing out flyers, onboarding people while she's there, meeting with Hexicans before we all get there. So she's done all the real hard grunt work. And then me, I just come in and then when we get there, we bring all the Hexicans together and or their onboards or people that are just interested in learning. And we go over what we're talking about. We talk about, cryptography. We talk about, how that started in ancient Egypt, and how humans were always trying to code things and, put difficulty into things to try and stop the double spend, stop the double spend. And then it goes all the way into, the advent of Bitcoin and what it was for and why it was there, and give it its props for what it did. Creating that first peer-to-peer transaction without an intermediary over the internet securely. That was a big step. Props to Bitcoin for making that first step happen. And then all the way into the iteration of Ethereum saying, hey, well, we can take that space on the blockchain and we can program this stuff to do really cool stuff, and change that programming, because Bitcoin was made with an old tech kind of spaghetti coding that made it very difficult to improve it. So Ethereum, with Solidity created, a way for you to program these cryptos to make better money, to give the blockchain technology to the world so that we can have Web3 and we can have the metaverse. So that's what we talk about. We talk about the history, and then we talk about the advent of Hex and what that did and how it changed the space from Bitcoin to, now we have a solid cryptocurrency that does that same peer-to-peer transaction, but has no bugs, has no problems, has an incredible inflation model, gets rid of the proof of work mechanism, and just functions better, draws yield like nobody's business, and delays inflation, which no other financial tool in the world does that. So this is what we teach people. And then we talk about PulseChain and what the L1 world means to crypto and the internet and the Web3 space. And then I just leave it up to some questions, and we interact with the people that are there, and then we break bread. We go and we sit down and we sit at the bar, and everybody gets to have a drink or two, and we talk crypto, and we talk the space, and we talk community, and we talk projects that are being built. And then we have a VIP dinner. So those people who buy VIP tickets, afterwards we go and we go to a really nice place, a restaurant, or we have it catered. And that's where a private group of people get to come, and we sit down and we get deeper involved in, their situations, what they want to bring to the table or what they want to talk about, or their own bags or whatever. And it builds community. Like we've built lifelong friends. We've met the first, grassroots blockchain center, built right in the neighborhood, just in Atlanta. I mean, it's just insane what the people that we're running into, and they're embracing PulseChain because it's truly decentralized, and they're right down the street from Grayscale's building, and they're just this little neighborhood building.
That's so cool.
Oh, dude, it's awesome. They got NFTs painted all over the outside of it, like, graffiti art. And
Wow.
they're just a few blocks away from, the big high rise, mirrored building that says Grayscale on it. And there's this neighborhood in your face. We're real true DeFi blockchain, PulseChain, I mean, there's guys over there making validators, or they're making nodes out of Raspberry Pis, and just incubating projects that are being built on the PulseChain, just stuff like that we've run into out there on the roads, and they're Hexicans, and they're preaching PulseChain, they're evangelizing PulseChain out there. So it's picking up steam, and there's something about the face-to-face meetup. You and I have been on stream together, but it was nothing like when we met. When we finally met, we hung out in Vegas and partied, got to meet your family, your dad, all that stuff, and then when we went to Florida, we got to hang out and we got ditched.
Waiting on a curb. Who are
Waiting
we?
on a curb. And I didn't even know what we were standing in front of, to be completely honest. I thought we were all going to some nightclub to meet with each other. You know what that place was.
I had
don't have
no.
to talk about
I
it.
actually had no idea.
I didn't either.
What is it?
That was a big strip club. That was like one of the biggest strip clubs in Miami.
I had no idea.
We got left out in front of us. And it said what? Something. I said the name of the club didn't look like it was. It looked like it was a club, right?
It was like water or something like that was the name of the
11 Ocean's 11.
Yes, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
Turned out.
Wow. Can you get any lower in life?
But that's all the good times, man. You know, smoking cigars and having dinner with people and sitting at the bar with them and you know, breaking bread and all. It does something to community. You know, it really changes the relationships. Like we're building lifelong friendships, and you need that kind of stuff when you're going out and doing this. Because let's face it, we're going up against the world's industrial complexes. We're going up against the banks. We're going up against the governments. We're going up against the wealthiest 1% of the world. That's a daunting task. Now, we've got the tools. We've got the guns and the ammunition to go and do it. We've got it all. Now we just got to put the troops together. We've got to get the people on the same page. We've got to stop the bickering. We've got to bring the crypto folks over with us. You know, we've got to show them what we got. We got to show them that we have the ammo and the tools necessary to go fight this fight, because now it's just going to take the masses and numbers of us to go out there and get this done. You know, like with these petitions that we're doing right now, and these comments that we're making on the SEC trials and on the IRS trials, or their cases that they're bringing. We're bringing real power. I mean, you look at we use the AI tool. We use the AI tool to write our comments using this tool here. It was easy. Everybody just had to go in, click a few items that they wanted. How many did we get to? 5,000 or something like that?
About 5,500. Very hexagon of us.
Went in there and went in there and built the things that were necessary, or I'm sorry, made the remarks that were necessary to get them to extend the period. They got such an overwhelming response that they extended the period for us to apply those. So more and more got in, and it was very, very easy. Everybody can do it. And I want everybody to understand, if you didn't do it, that's okay. I get it. It's daunting, but next time, look into it a little deeper. It literally took a guy like me. I'm not a tech guy. I'm not real savvy. I have a hard time with reading and writing and all that good stuff. But this thing was point and click, add your name, add your information, add the style that you wanted it. Richard even did one. He took it another step forward. He actually had one written in pirate speak. And I don't know if that was an ode to me or what, but thanks, Richard. I appreciated that. And he wrote one to the SEC that was in pirate speak, and called his e-treasures or something like. What did he call it? I forget what it was called.
That's awesome.
But it was great. And so we can have fun with this, and we can now we have these tools. See, we can take these tools and go out and present better. And we have these tools to go fight them with. And when, you know, a judge sees these things like they did in the Ripple case. So the petition is the next thing that we've just started, and shout out to my partner Kinetics and Crypto Coffee for putting the amicus brief together. And it's basically what it is, guys, is you click on that amicus brief, go see Kinetics on Twitter, or you can see it on my Twitter. I've retweeted it, Captain RG3. And you literally just put your information in there, click on the button, and you've signed the petition. Read the petition, though, because it's basically us hexagons saying, hey, Richard did no harm to us. We sacrificed in the name of freedom of speech. We sacrificed because we believe in blockchain being our inalienable right to speak or to save data or to put data out into the world. It's our right to do so. And your case against him is egregious. Now, let me show you how powerful this is. The Ripple case, the judge literally said the amicus briefs, the writings, influenced their decision on how they dismissed that case. So this is important, guys. This is very, very important. I know everybody likes to go meme and shit talk and go chase these shiny objects when the bear market's in and all this stuff. But this is something that we could really do. I know we've all raised money for all kinds of things, from movies to politicians to NASCARs to you name it. Well, we'll just go and put a little bit of your time equity into this. It's literally 2 to 3 clicks. Like KG could do it right now, put his information, but don't everybody gonna see, but
Yeah.
and it's click, click, bang, and you're done. And you're part of this. So everybody needs to get this and do it and then get it out there, tweet it out and put it out there in the crypto space. Go put it in Telegram rooms, drop it off, and hey, it's if they're coming after one of us, they're coming after all of us. We all know that Richard has receipts for what they're asking for. We know what it's going to end up being. But the fact that they're even coming at us is just saying that they don't understand, they don't know what we're doing. We're good people doing the right thing, So anyway, click on that and sign it, guys. I got another show too, so I got to make sure that we have a kind of a hard stop here. I want to make sure.
How much time do you have left?
I literally I'm on it. I extended it 15 minutes, but I have about another 5 minutes or so.
Okay. Well, with that said, before I say anything else, is there anything you want to say with the 5 minutes that you have left?
We're going to be in Austin next week on the 4th. Go to PulseChainTour.com. Come hang out with us. Come see what DeFi is all about. Come listen to Brother KG and myself, and come break bread with the Hexicans. SJ will be there. The lovely SJ, the lovely Black Hexican will be out there. We're all going to be, shaking your hands and hanging out with you. And there's goodie bags and food and hanging out the bars and all that good stuff. So, and there's always some kind of fun going on, at the evening. So yeah, everybody get out there and don't forget these petitions. They're very important. Get it out there. That's it.
Well said. I will make sure to have all the links in this description as soon as the video is over. So if you don't know where to get them, just check this video once it is ended. And RG3, I'm going to let you get out of here so you can make it to your next stream. I want to stick around for a few minutes and talk a little bit more about this stuff. But thank you for jumping on today, sharing your philosophies, sharing your alpha, sharing your insight. And thank you to you and the rest of your team for doing everything that the three of you do to make this so important thing known to the world. You're awesome. Keep it up, man.
Thank you. We'll see you. And I'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. See you then. Excited.
All right. Bye.
Peace. All right. So while we have a few more minutes here, let's go ahead and run through this a little bit more. So if you haven't got your tickets for the Austin tour yet, I did drop that link here in the chat, but again, I will put it in the description once the video is over. It's in 4 days, 2 hours. And like I said earlier, I will be giving my first crypto talk. So I have given talks in the past at other types of events, but this will be my first crypto talk. So I'll definitely be talking about internet money. I'll be talking about crypto philosophy. Maybe I'll answer questions that anybody has, but I think it'll be really fun. And if you haven't been to any of these meetups, you should go. It puts everything in a whole different perspective. Online, on Twitter, everybody's angry at each other. Everybody's going in on each other. It's always hectic and chaos, but in person, those things dissolve and everybody's a bunch of friends. As kumbaya as that sounds, that's how it always turns out to be. I haven't fought with anybody in person now. I'm hoping by me saying that it doesn't turn into that ever. I don't want to fight with anybody, but that hasn't happened yet. It is always good. I always learn. I always grow. And if you haven't been to an in-person meetup, you should go. And if you're worried about people knowing who you are, just don't tell them your online handle. Just be a random person. So you could still remain anonymous in that respect. So make sure you get your tickets there. Make sure you reach out to RG3, Black Hexagon, or SJ if you have any specific questions about the tour. But we are sponsors of the tour. And by we, I mean Internet Money. And we sponsor the tour because we really believe in what the team at the PulseChain Tour is doing. We believe in what the PulseChain Tour represents, right? If you're out there, even if you are a project building on PulseChain, even if you are completely outside of the PulseChain ecosystem, this right here is amazing for onboarding, amazing for community building, and amazing for education. It is so hard for a new person in crypto to come in and go from zero to the internet and just, it's overwhelming. It's fire hydrant effect. And they're thirsty. They want to get that crypto water, but there's too much information. So when you go to these things and you put these things on, you're giving newer people a community of people who they can lean on and hopefully trust. So that's very important there. And I also want to go back as well to this Pulse petition thing a little bit. If you have not done this, I also highly at least encourage you to look into it and consider it, because so far there is 1,952 signatures. And so that is basically 2,000 people who have said that they agree and back what the petition says. Now, if you would like to read the petition and see if it aligns with you before signing, click right here. And there's obviously a lot of reading, but I think there's two very important things that should be read. And I wanted to read this on here. So the introduction. We, the undersigned holders of Hex, PulseChain, PulseX, and other similar personal properties, firmly assert our support for an amicus brief, which is this document, requesting fair adjudication in the matter of Securities and Exchange Commission versus Richard J. Schuler, aka Richard Hart, Hex, PulseChain, and PulseX. We're saying that we want fair assessment, fair trial, fair perspective. We believe that our perspective as active participants in the decentralized PulseChain ecosystem, driven by a shared belief in the political and social viewpoints for which we made financial sacrifices or spent money, contribute valuable insights to the ongoing legal proceedings. In this document, the name Richard Hart shall be used interchangeably for the name Richard Schuler. Here's what's so important about this. When the SEC cracks down on something, they're not just cracking down on the people at the top. Sure, Richard in this case is the scapegoat. He is the martyr. He is the pariah. But we will all be affected. Good or bad, nobody knows until the time comes. But we will all be affected in some way by the results of this case. We can say we've already been affected by the fact that this case even exists. Does everybody remember when Pulse dumped from 3 zeros and a 1 to 4 zeros and a 3? Did anybody feel negatively affected by that? I know I did when I watched my number go down on screen. And who did that? That wasn't Richard. That wasn't the PulseChain team. That was the SEC causing fear, uncertainty, and doubt. That was the SEC who supposedly protects their investors, their investor class. That was them directly hurting their investor class. We saw the Stoner Cats NFT project, like them or don't, doesn't matter. We saw huge names, Mila Kunis, Ashton Kutcher, Chris Rock, Vitalik himself associated with this product. Millions of dollars invested by people to buy these NFTs to get access to that content. And what did the SEC do? Shut them down, made them pay millions of dollars in fines, and they could no longer continue their project. Who rugged? The Stoner Cats team? Did Ashton Kutcher and Chris Rock rug you? No, the United States government did. Hey, and it doesn't matter if you're not a United States citizen. It doesn't even matter if you hate the United States and want nothing to do with them. Our government rugged you. Our government hurt you. Our government said, we don't care about the boundary lines that separate countries and belief systems. We don't care about that at all. We are going to hurt each and every one of you because we want that money in our pocket and we want to exercise our control and power over you. Protect the investor. That's the meme of the year. That is the meme of our generation. The SEC wants to protect the investor. Ha! LOL to that one, SEC. Let's read the next sentence. We emphasize that we are not now, nor have we ever been, victims of fraud by Richard Hart, nor do we hold any expectations of profit solely derived from his work. All I've ever seen in the PulseChain and Hex community is individuals doing the work themselves. Richard, as one participant in this ecosystem, he's done some work, but so have thousands of other people. So have RG3, Black Hexagon, SJ on the PulseChain Tour. So have myself and Don Montoya building Internet Money and the dev team that we are associated with, our incredible team of talented engineers. Each one of us is doing our part to make this thing happen. I don't see anyone, and if there is anyone, they are absolutely the outlier. The super majority person in the Hex and PulseChain community does the thing themselves, creates the content, does the work. This petition, from what I derive as is the meaning of it, is that we're saying we believe in those types of things. Now, you should read it yourself, and you should make your own opinion, and you shouldn't blindly sign anything that you haven't read or agreed with. But as long as you read this and you feel comfortable with that, then you should sign it. It is very powerful. And XRP, like RG3 was saying earlier, they had one of these. And I think there was like 75,000-ish people that signed that. And that is something that played very well in their favor. And so there's many facets to why this is so important. It's not just Hex and PulseChain and PulseX. It is a part of it. But this is a fight for crypto. This is so much further beyond just what's happening in our little ecosystem. This is setting precedent for all of crypto. When the government wins against crypto, that puts ammo in their arsenal to win against crypto again. Because then they use these things as subject cases to say, oh, you're a lot like this other case where we destroyed somebody. We'll destroy you too, and use this as a precedent. So if you're out there watching right now and you're not in the Hex and PulseChain community, set your ego aside and recognize that they're coming for your bags too. And with all that said, I would like to end on this little poem. First, they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. On that, thank you for tuning in. I hope everybody has a great night. Peace.
What is cryptocurrency? Cryptocurrency is more than just money. Cryptocurrency is a lifestyle, a philosophy, an ecosystem, the means by which human beings to attain financial freedom, not just in the sense of multiplying their investment, but giving humans the ability to interact with money in any way that they see fit. And if that way doesn't already exist, that's the beauty of crypto, is you can create it. And that's what we've done here. Internet money is the future. Internet money is the future. What is internet money, you ask? Well, it's just that. The future. Internet money. Internet money is the future. Internet money.
They Scott on the blockchain.
Internet money. Internet money. Financial freedom. Internet money. Internet money is the future. Internet money. Internet money is the future. Internet money is the future.